We were waiting for a few people in the hallway. We knew we had a few folks coming in late, but thank you for being here. Welcome. So glad you're here. My name is Steve Hogan. I'll try to stay out of the way. We do have some translation on the screen. I know it's not always perfectly accurate, but I hope it helps some. And or like introduce yourself and give them the usual speech.
Yes, my name is Dora Ramirez and Mi nombre es Dora Ramírez y voy a traducir. La mayoría está traducido ahí. No es muy buena traducción debido a la tecnología, pero si hay preguntas al final y yo voy a ayudarles a traducir las preguntas y las respuestas.
I'm going to jump right in and get to why you're here. Try not to waste your time. I want to save as much time as we can for your questions. Again, my name is Steve Hogan. I'm the Director of Planning and the Boundaries for Granite School District. I do want to take a quick second just to make sure we recognize a few folks here tonight. We appreciate always their help and their support. Kim Chandler, one of our board members, is here. She's already working the crowd and talking to folks over there. But many of our directors and other folks, and if you're from the district or a school principal, just raise your hand. We won't let you introduce yourself tonight. We won't need to do that. And parents, how about if you're a Monroe parent? Okay. Hillsdale parents. Okay. Stansbury. Fantastic. Okay. Valley Crest. Great. I'm glad we have also represented. Typically, when we have a meeting at a school, we'll get more, of course, from that area. But remember, we have this same meeting we will do again next week at Hillsdale, next Wednesday at 6 p.m. We will try to make it as close to the same as possible. And so even if you're here tonight and want to come again next week, please do. So I'm going to go through some slides, this presentation. It's pretty short, I think. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. After, and I want to take your questions. When you have a question, please come up and use the microphone, because we do have it recorded, just a heads up, so that often we'll have this online somewhere so you can see it, so other people can see it, but speak into the microphone so that others can hear your questions recorded later. And again, if you need translation as you're asking a question, please remind them, Dorothy, if they come up to speak, you will certainly have the translation back and forth.
Mientras está la presentación, si ustedes tienen preguntas, pueden ir al micrófono y expresar sus sentimientos o preguntas, y me dejan saber para que yo les pueda traducir si es que necesitan ayuda con eso. She's asking if I can translate as you go instead of reading.
Ask how many people do we have that may be.
¿Cuántas personas necesitan traducción?
Yo creo que con que haya una es necesario.
La cosa es que si se sientan solo en un lugar, puedo hablarles, porque si él traduce y yo traduzco, vamos a hacer la reunión más larga.
Well, can you just do like maybe that's like you presented and she translated?
We can try it that way. We can try it that way. We do have every slide, again, in both languages, so hopefully that helps.
It's just slightly hard to read it and see it back here with how fast it's going, even for some.
You want us to take turns, or?
We'll try to go back and forth. If I get going too fast or say too much, just let me know. Okay? Right. Okay. We're here tonight to talk mostly about the DLI programs.
Estamos aquí hoy para hablar acerca del programa de lenguaje dual en español.
But I want to give you a quick summary and reminder of the bigger picture of the entire study.
Les voy a dar un resumen en general de lo que vamos a estar hablando.
When we started this study back in February,
Cuando empezamos este estudio en febrero,
we had about 20 elementary schools involved in the study.
estaban 20 escuelas envueltas en este estudio.
Some schools were being studied for closure or boundary studies.
Algunas escuelas se ha estado haciendo el estudio para cerrarlas y otras para cambiar los límites.
And a very important part of the study had to do with the dual language immersion programs.
Y mucho de este estudio tiene que ver con el programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje.
The board will make a final decision on everything we're talking about tonight in December.
La mesa directiva va a ser la decisión final de todo lo que hablemos hoy en diciembre.
There will be a first approval or an initial approval in November.
Habrá una aprobación
Inicial.
en noviembre.
The final decision, again, is at the December board meeting.
Y en diciembre será la decisión final en la mesa directiva.
The current proposal has 2 schools being closed.
Lo que se propone de las 2 escuelas que se podrían cerrar,
Orchard Elementary School.
Orchard, la escuela de Orchard Elementary
And Redwood.
y la escuela de Redwood Road.
And then we will talk about Valley Crest in a few minutes.
Y vamos a hablar en unos minutos acerca de la escuela de Valley Crest.
This yellow circle shows you the area where most of our DLI Spanish schools are.
El círculo, el óvalo amarillo indica donde la mayoría de nuestros alumnos del programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje se encuentran.
And people see that small red dot.
¿Pueden ver ese puntito rojo?
That makes sense. I'll try to use that instead of standing in front of the map. How about that?
Dice, voy a tratar de usar eso en lugar de pararme enfrente de la pantalla.
Okay. This is the area we're mostly focusing on tonight with these 4 schools.
Ese es el área donde nos estamos enfocando hoy de estas 4 escuelas.
Valley Crest, Monroe,
Valley Crest, Monroe,
Hillsdale, Stansbury.
Hillsdale y Stansbury.
I can and will come back to any of these slides while we're taking questions from the parents.
Sé que puedo regresar a cualquiera de estas presentaciones para contestar sus preguntas.
Remember, we talked about, for the last 3 or 4 months especially, 2 options.
Recuerden que hemos estado hablando por los últimos 6 meses acerca de 2 opciones.
We talked about going from 4 schools to 2 DLI.
De 3 escuelas, 2 escuelas, de 4 escuelas a 2 escuelas para el programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje.
Or having 1 school, the DLI Academy school that's only DLI.
O una escuela que sería una academia de inmersión dual de lenguaje.
After many meetings and feedback,
Después de muchas reuniones y de encuestas,
we are proposing something slightly different than those 2 options.
proponemos algo un poco diferente de esas 2 opciones.
We call it the hybrid model, or it's a combination of those 2 options.
Que es una combinación de esas 2 opciones.
And that's what we're proposing tonight.
Y eso es lo que estamos proponiendo hoy.
The plan is a DLI magnet school to be located at Valley Crest, the current Valley Crest Elementary.
Se propone que en la escuela de Valley Crest se haga una escuela de inmersión dual de lenguaje.
Monroe, right here,
Y en esta escuela
would absorb the current boundary of Valley Crest and part of Armstrong.
absorberá parte de Valley Crest y de la escuela de Armstrong.
All DLI Spanish students in the study, and Dora, if you just need to basically read that part, that's all I'm doing, okay? DLI Spanish students in the study area would be expected to attend the magnet, except Stansbury. Stansbury would continue to have DLI.
Dice, todos los alumnos del programa de inmersión dual en español en el área de estudio se esperará que asistan a la escuela Magnet, excepto Stansbury, y Stansbury continuará con hospedará el programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje.
This simple map shows the area of Armstrong.
Esta área indica el área de Armstrong,
That we propose becomes part of this boundary.
que proponemos que sea parte de esta área.
Same map, just with the streets.
Es el mismo mapa, solamente que agregamos las calles.
I will go back to the more simple map.
Y este es un mapa más simple.
The green box, of course, just outlines what that, again, school boundary would be for just our traditional students, no DLI.
La línea verde define el área donde van a estar los alumnos. Could you please repeat that?
Right. So again, this boundary would become the new Monroe Elementary boundary.
Esa va a ser la nueva línea de límites de la escuela de Monroe Elementary.
They would not have a DLI program.
Y no tendrá el programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje.
What is a magnet school?
¿Qué es una escuela magnet?
I want to make that clear because people hear magnet school and it means different things to different people.
Voy a hacer la aclaración porque la palabra magnet significa diferentes cosas para diferentes personas.
It is simply a school offering a specialized instruction or program that are typically not offered at all schools.
Es una escuela que ofrece instrucción especializada y programas que normalmente no se ofrecen en todas las escuelas.
Sometimes you hear magnet when they're talking about gifted.
Algunas ocasiones ustedes escuchan magnet cuando se refieren a las escuelas para niños dotados,
or what we call advanced learning centers.
o lo que le llamamos centros de aprendizaje avanzado,
DLI programs sometimes, or other special programs.
como el programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje o algunos otros programas.
And for tonight, when I say magnet, I'm just talking about DLI Spanish.
En esta ocasión, cuando hablo acerca de magnet, me estoy refiriendo al programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje.
Again, the Spanish DLI Magnet School will be a specialized Spanish DLI school where every student attending the school will be learning in Spanish and English using the Utah DLI model.
El programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje, en este programa los alumnos que hablan inglés y los que hablan español estarán aprendiendo los dos idiomas.
What that means, instruction, half of the day instruction will be in Spanish, the other half will be in English.
Lo que significa es que la instrucción seguirá el modelo de la mitad de los alumnos aprenderán la mitad del tiempo español y la otra mitad del tiempo de la escuela aprenderán inglés.
We call it a two-way DLI, where both English and Spanish-speaking students will be in the same classes.
La escuela será una escuela de inmersión dual de lenguaje bidireccional, donde tanto los estudiantes que hablan inglés como los que hablan español estarán en las clases.
This is especially important for our native Spanish speakers to be able to learn content in their native language.
Esto es importante para los alumnos que hablan español porque aprenderán el contexto de lo que están estudiando en español.
We combine a very, very good teacher That's not up there. I'm just-
Did you have something?
We combine a very, very good teacher
Dice que combinamos un buen maestro
to teach the students,
para enseñar a los alumnos
and at the same time,
y al mismo tiempo
students learn from each other,
los alumnos aprenden uno de otro,
Spanish and English.
español e inglés.
Who is eligible to attend the Spanish DLI school?
¿Quiénes califican para asistir al programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje?
Again, I want to be very specific. In this magnet program, a test is not required to qualify for the program.
Y nuevamente quiero ser muy específico, en este programa no se requiere que se les haga un examen a los niños que van a participar.
For some magnet programs in our district and across the country, a test is required.
Pero en algunas escuelas en nuestro distrito o a través de en el país se requiere que se les haga un examen a los niños antes de participar.
But while a test is not required, there are some commitments we want from families and students.
No se requiere que se les haga un programa, un examen a los niños que van a participar, pero sí se les requiere que se comentan, que se comprometan en este programa.
All Spanish DLI students currently attending Hillsdale, Monroe, and Valley Crest will be eligible to attend.
Todos los estudiantes que hablan español en el programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje que asistan actualmente a Hillsdale, Monroe o Valley Crest serán elegibles para asistir.
The siblings of current DLI students at Hillsdale, Monroe, and Valley Crest will be given priority for the kindergarten and first grade only.
Los hermanos de los estudiantes del programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje que están actualmente en Hillsdale, Monroe y Valley Crest tendrán prioridad para las vacantes de kindergarten y primer grado.
Other current Spanish DLI students will be accepted based on available capacity.
Se aceptarán a otros alumnos que hablan español en el programa de inmersión de lenguaje dual en función de la capacidad disponible.
In other words, if they are coming from a school other than these schools, they may. If they're coming from a school other than Hillsdale, Monroe, and Valley Crest. I'm just talking now.
Yeah.
So, for instance, even though Stansberry will keep a DLI program,
Esto quiere decir que aunque el programa de Valley Crest va a mantener el programa,
if a Stansberry student wants to attend the academy,
si un alumno de Stansbury quiere asistir al programa,
they can still apply for it.
puede aplicar para esto.
Let me go back from that. Or other schools, not just those schools, but other schools in this area.
No solamente las escuelas que están en el Overlook, sino las otras escuelas que están alrededor también.
Even students that may be in charter schools that want to come to the academy, they may.
Aún los alumnos que están en escuelas charters, ellos pueden también aplicar para entrar a este programa.
So in other words, the academy magnet school is not just for this area.
En otras palabras, el programa de Magnet no es únicamente para los alumnos que están en esta área.
It will be open for anyone to apply.
Está abierto para que cualquier persona pueda aplicar.
And based on capacity or how many we can fit at the school.
Y esto será basado en la capacidad o cuántas personas podemos acomodar en la escuela.
Current DLI students, though, must complete the letter or application to make sure.
Dice que los alumnos que están actualmente deben someter una aplicación
just so we know how many people want to come.
solamente para saber cuántas personas están interesadas en venir al programa.
But again, if you're a current DLI student at one of those schools, you have priority.
Pero nuevamente, si ustedes tienen alumnos en algunas de estas escuelas que están en el programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje, ellos tienen prioridad.
Why are we recommending Valley Crest as the location of the magnet school?
¿Por qué es que recomendamos la escuela de Valley Crest como la escuela de inmersión dual de lenguaje?
I will tell you there is no perfect solution or answer,
Les voy a decir que no hay una perfecta solución o respuesta,
but the committee relied heavily on these two factors.
pero el comité se ha basado en estos dos factores.
The location of Valley Crest
La localidad de Valley Crest,
since it is the furthest west school,
ya que es la escuela que está más alejada hacia el oeste,
we hope we can continue to attract students from West Valley, especially Magnet.
esperamos que podamos atraer alumnos de West Valley y Valley Crest.
We understand that Monroe is still pretty close,
Entendemos que Monroe está muy cerca,
less than a mile apart from Valley Crest.
menos de una milla de Valley Crest.
So the next biggest factor is, I call egress. I'll explain that.
Dice que el siguiente factor él lo va a explicar.
People, not just the pickup and drop-off zones, so not just the pickup and drop-off,
Dice que no solamente las personas que recogen y traen a los niños,
it is mostly about trying to get out, egress or exit, or get out of the school back onto the street.
dice que
So trying to get out of the school
tratando de salir de la escuela
to get back onto the street.
para que puedan, la facilidad de salir de la escuela para que puedan a tomar una calle mayor.
No school is perfect
Una escuela es perfecta
when it comes to pick up and drop off.
cuando se considera en recoger y dejar a los niños en la escuela.
All schools are difficult.
Todas las escuelas tienen dificultad.
Crazy drivers.
Choferes locos,
People, please be more patient.
personas por favor que deben ser más pacientes.
This is very important.
Esto es muy importante.
It's not about just coming in and it's about trying to get out.
No es solamente llegar, sino también tratar de salir.
We had traffic engineers
Tenemos ingenieros de tráfico
help us study both schools,
que nos han ayudado a estudiar ambas escuelas
and it is part that we cannot control,
y es una parte que nosotros no podemos controlar.
and that is what happens on the street.
Y eso es lo que pasa en la calle.
The amount and direction of traffic flow,
La cantidad y la dirección del tráfico,
the location of the traffic light,
donde se encuentra el semáforo,
make it difficult to make any changes here on the campus that would help us get out easier.
hace difícil que nosotros podamos hacer cambios para que sea difícil, para que sea fácil el transporte.
That does not mean that Valley Crest would be perfect
No significa que Valley Crest será perfecto
with traffic flow,
con la fluidez del tráfico,
but our studies suggest it will be much, much better.
pero nuestros estudios sugieren que será mucho mejor.
And this is especially important for a school that will have increased traffic.
Y esto es para las escuelas que van a incrementar su cantidad de tráfico.
A couple more things and get the questions.
Un par de cosas más y después vamos a las preguntas.
Many people have asked about a new name for the school.
Han preguntado sobre el nuevo nombre de la escuela
It probably will, I don't know what that will be.
y probablemente será, no sé cuál será el nombre.
Will it have a new mascot, new school colors,
Nueva mascota, nuevos colores de la escuela,
new school uniforms?
nuevo uniforme de la escuela.
All of that will be decided after the final decision by the board.
Eso será decidido después de la decisión final de la mesa directiva.
But we do want to make it a unique school,
Pero queremos que sea una escuela única.
so we do consider this a closure of Valley Crest
Así que consideramos la clausura de la escuela de Valley Crest
as a traditional school,
como una escuela tradicional,
but reopening as the DLI school.
pero la vamos a abrir como una escuela de inmersión dual de lenguaje.
A lot of people have asked about a bus or transportation.
Muchas personas han hecho preguntas acerca del transporte.
Whenever it's a magnet school, it's called a school of choice designation.
Cuando hay una escuela magnet se considera una escuela de designación de I forgot that word in Spanish.
Yeah, that's a I don't know. School of choice.
Sí, que pueden escoger la designación.
It's that one. The state does not reimburse the district for the transportation.
El distrito no le regresa dinero a la escuela por el transporte.
For instance, most of the time, if you live more than 1.5 miles from a school, you automatically get a bus.
Dice, por ejemplo, si viven más de 1,5 millas de la escuela, se considera el autobús.
And when it's a magnet school, that is not always the case.
Cuando es una escuela magnet, no es necesariamente lo que pasa.
However, we are hopeful that we can have a bus stop at Hillsdale.
Sin embargo, tenemos la esperanza de que pueda haber una parada de camión en la escuela de Hillsdale
For students to be transported to the magnet school.
para que los alumnos sean transportados a la escuela de magnet.
If we do not know if there will be any additional buses besides the bus at Hillsdale.
No sabemos si va a haber el transporte adicional para la escuela de Hillsdale, en la escuela de Hillsdale.
Simply a timeline, what happens next?
Esta es una línea de tiempo de qué es lo que va a pasar.
Again, the board decision in December.
En diciembre va a ser la decisión de la mesa directiva.
Then the district will begin to appoint a new administration for the school, for the new magnet school.
Después el distrito va a escoger la administración de la nueva escuela.
We hope that is in early 2025.
Esperamos que eso sea al principio del año 2025.
The school starts accepting the applications in January.
En enero la escuela va a empezar a aceptar aplicaciones.
Teachers and staff are hired.
Después los maestros y personal de la escuela se va a empezar a contratar.
And then parent and community involvement in the name of the school, mascot, and other things.
Y luego los padres y alumnos estarán envueltos en el nombre de la mascota y el nombre de la escuela, etc.
And school opens next fall.
Y la escuela se abrirá el siguiente otoño.
Again, reminder, this presentation will be on our website tomorrow.
Esta presentación estará en la página del distrito mañana.
Is this the, for the feedback survey? Okay. You can use this QR code for feedback.
Pueden usar ese código QR para que den sus respuestas.
This is a different survey than you've taken before.
Esto es diferente de lo que han tomado antes, es una encuesta diferente de las que han hecho antes.
Or it's the same survey that you picked up all the way in.
Y esa es la misma encuesta del papel que ustedes recogieron cuando entraron.
So just do it one time, not both, not there and
Nada más háganlo una vez, por favor, o lo hacen en su teléfono o lo hacen en papel.
Okay, questions?
¿Tienen preguntas?
I can go back to different slides.
Si tienen preguntas, él puede regresar las presentaciones.
So,
When you come up, remember you're going to be translated, so slow or in pieces.
okay. So Redwood is closing, and Stansberry is absorbing half of Redwood. I need to know because I've heard that some of Stansberry's boundary is going to Hillsdale. I need to know where boundary is on that west side is going to Hillsdale to know whether I am in Stansberry or I'm in
She has
Hillsdale.
questions about Redwood's closing and Redwood's Hillsdale.
Lo que quiere saber ella dice como si se va a cerrar Redwood y Stansberry. Ella quiere saber los límites para saber en qué escuela le va a tocar a ella.
There is currently no part of Redwood, or excuse me, no part of Stansberry that would be going to Hillsdale.
Okay, that's what I heard in my community council on Tuesday.
There's been conversation in the community about that.
Dice que ha habido conversaciones en el Consejo de la Comunidad acerca de los límites, pero que no se ha hablado ahorita de la escuela de Stansberry.
Again, this part of Redwood to Stansberry.
Que esa parte de Redwood va a ir a Stansberry
This part to Wilson.
y esa parte a Wilson
And this portion to Granger.
y esa parte a la escuela de Granger Elementary.
There has been conversation early on
Dice que hubo conversaciones al principio
about whether a boundary change for students from Stansberry to Hillsdale would take place.
que hubo conversaciones al principio de que quizá iban a hacer un límite en la escuela de Stansberry, pero en este momento ha cambiado eso.
So I know that wasn't just a dream you had or something you made up.
We're going to change?
It is not a proposal at this point.
Okay.
It was part of a big conversation early on that we look at that, but at this point it is not on the table, it's not a proposal.
Okay.
Dice que fue conversación al principio en la mesa directiva, pero a este punto no ha sido una propuesta.
Yeah, which I can't remember exactly where that was. Contact me later, I could look in my notes, but I can't remember exactly where it was. May have been- Or senior right after we did the math and physics.
Ella quiere saber exactamente los límites y dice que va a revisar el mapa sobre eso.
Okay, you're up. You can do it, you can do it.
I don't know if I can do it clearly. Okay, so last time I had a question when I was at Valley Crest about having an opportunity to go vote on which school location by seeing the actual school for parents who have never been in either school or been in one and never been in the other. First part of my question would be, is that going anywhere?
We can absolutely do that. Let's repeat the question. She had asked before, because I remember, about parents that want to go and look at maybe some of these other schools.
Ella hizo una pregunta sobre los padres que quizá quieren ir en una de estas dos escuelas.
We can certainly do that, and Dana is writing that down so we can arrange with the principals to come up with a day and time to make that work.
Okay. So my question this time, since I followed up, I just noticed during this meeting there was a lot of talk about traffic rather than quality of education, or quality of teachers, how that's going to be chosen. And as a parent, I feel like maybe that's backwards.
Let me let her repeat.
Dice que durante esta reunión lo que ella escuchó que se habló mucho acerca del tráfico, más que la calidad y la calidad de educación o la calidad del personal que va a trabajar.
I feel like this school, from what I know, Monroe, has enrolled over 800 students or around that before, and I make copies for the school regularly, and the most copies I make with extras, including preschool, is 500. So I know we're not there, and not even close to there, that it can hold more.
So this school has had at least 700 to 800 students in the past. Now 400 or 500? About 500.
Dice que en el pasado esta escuela ha tenido hasta 800 alumnos, pero que últimamente ha disminuido y es más o menos 500 alumnos.
And I know from previous meetings, we have more dual immersion enrollment within Boundary at our school in Monroe versus Valley Crest.
How many, what percentage of students does Monroe have that are DLI and traditional versus Valley Crest?
Está hablando de la cantidad de alumnos que son de dual immersion, que pertenecen al área de la escuela, y lo está comparando con la escuela de Valley Crest, la cantidad de alumnos que pertenecen al área de la escuela, y ella piensa que en esta área los alumnos de inmersión dual, la cantidad es mayor.
So if this is to serve the population that needs dual immersion within the Boundary, why are we not focusing on quality within our Boundary? Does that make sense?
Quality of education within the boundary.
Right, for the people who need it. I know that we serve the trailer park.
Right. Okay. Let me try to answer a couple of these, and
Okay.
I'll hit everything let me know. Let me first address the question about the emphasis on traffic versus teaching and quality of education.
Va a hablar acerca de el problema del tráfico y educación. Va a explicar esos dos conceptos.
I want to be clear that quality of education always comes first. What I was not clear on is, regardless of where the magnet school is,
Dice que quiere aclarar que la calidad de educación siempre va a ser primero, pero que no importa en qué escuela esté.
and I encourage some of my experts over here to correct me if I get this wrong.
Y les doy la oportunidad a mis expertos aquí que me corrijan si es que estoy equivocado.
Many, if not most, of the same DLI teachers will be at the magnet school, if that's what they still want to do.
Que muchos de los maestros, y no todos, continuarán estando en la escuela de inmersión dual si es que ellos quieren hacerlo.
We need almost all, if not all, or more of the DLI teachers at all of these schools to be able to teach all the DLI students.
Dice que necesitamos a todos los maestros para que puedan dar las clases en la escuela de inmersión dual de lenguaje.
Again, that will be the same no matter where the magnet is.
Y eso va a ser lo mismo, no importa dónde esté la escuela de inmersión dual de lenguaje.
So I'm so glad to hear that you feel very good about the teachers and the quality of education here.
Y estoy contento de que usted tenga un buen concepto de la calidad de maestros en esta escuela para el programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje.
Because we will need some of those very same teachers to continue teaching the students at the DLI program.
Porque vamos a necesitar a esos alumnos para que continúen enseñando en la escuela de inmersión dual de lenguaje.
Both Stansberry and Monroe
Ambos, Stansberry y Monroe,
have almost half and half DLI and traditional students.
tienen casi la mitad y la mitad de alumnos de inmersión dual de lenguaje.
I will get this table posted tomorrow on our website.
Les invito a que vean esta tabla que se va a poner mañana,
That shows for the 4 schools
que muestra que para las 4 escuelas,
how many DLI and traditional schools each school has. DLI and traditional students each school has.
cuántos alumnos que pertenecen al programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje en las escuelas tradicionales hay.
And also, how many of those students live within the boundary or outside of the school boundary.
Al mismo tiempo, cuántos de estos alumnos viven dentro del área de la escuela o fuera del área de la escuela.
But they're almost 50-50 in both schools.
Pero es casi 50-50 en las escuelas.
Did I get all your questions? What did I forget?
Yeah, I guess with the traffic thing, my biggest problem is that I know this school is a walking school where we have the majority of our students coming from walking distance in that trailer park, and knowing that half of them, or I don't know the numbers, but I know that the side closest to 3,500 is within the bus mileage, but on this side it is not. My concern is for those children that walk to school, rain or shine, all year long, and their ability to go to a different school when it's DLI that they need more than others.
Concerned about the number of students that walk versus students that get transportation. Mark, I'm not saying.
It's okay, I know I said a lot.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure everybody understands your question.
Está preocupada porque dice que los alumnos que tienen que caminar para asistir a la otra escuela, que esta escuela está a una distancia para caminar. Entonces sí, van a tener que caminar más. Y que estos alumnos caminan, llueva o truene, caminan.
I can't remember this. Do you have buses now? Here in Monroe?
No.
So I'll listen. So Monroe is like about 80 to 85% of the district.
Sé que Monroe es como 80-85% del distrito.
In other words, at least 80% of the students in the entire district do not get a bus, are not eligible for a bus.
Dice que como un 80% en todo el distrito no tienen transporte.
I don't always like that.
No siempre me gusta eso,
That's a state policy that we have to live within.
pero es una póliza del Estado que tenemos que cumplir.
In a district our size with many large busy streets,
Y nuestro distrito es grande y tiene muchas calles grandes
very difficult.
y es difícil.
I agree and acknowledge with what you're saying.
Y estoy de acuerdo y reconozco lo que está diciendo.
I wish I had a clear answer.
Me gustaría tener una
It's okay.
respuesta mejor.
I'm just concerned about them and those children that don't have the voice when
Thank you. There's a reality that we've heard over and over, and again, don't disagree with, that is sometimes different resources for different families have greater impact, or there's impacts. If you don't have the resources, the bigger the impact. Absolutely.
Hi. So it does get like, you do get kind of nervous when you start.
I know, tell me about it. Yeah.
Okay, so I do have a few questions. Why does Stansberry get to keep the program? Go ahead.
Sé que por qué Stansberry puede tener el programa.
Good job. No, I appreciate you stopping. A combination of things. Again, they're a large enough enrollment overall.
Dice porque tienen, hay un par de cosas, porque tienen una inscripción de alumnos mayor.
And then we add another 175 students from Redwood,
Y cuando añaden 175 más alumnos,
if that is approved by the board,
si eso es lo que va a pasar,
it will likely add not just more students, but more DLI students.
no solamente van a añadir más alumnos, sino también más alumnos que están en el programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje,
To maintain a strong program.
para que se pueda mantener fuerte el programa.
So we're already keeping the program at Granger. Why would we also keep it at Stansberry when they're not too far apart? Why not move those kids also? Go ahead.
Mostly comes down to the size, overall size of the total enrollment of the school.
Ella pregunta que por qué él dice que la razón es, please.
Yeah, so I was just wondering because Granger's already keeping the program. That was never in the study. So I'm wondering why wouldn't they move the kids that are in Redwood? Because does Redwood have DLI right now? So they don't even have a DLI program right now. So now that's even more.
It was
The more I
another-
go to these meetings, the more questions I seem to
Sure.
have.
Me too. The question of closure was answered first for Redwood. And then we had to address immediately after DLI, where those students are going.
Dice que la respuesta de cerrar el Granger vino antes y después se enfocaron en el programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje.
But to answer your question, I hope both Granger and Stansberry both have large enough student populations to have a very successful, robust DLI program and traditional program.
So I know that you guys didn't put up the numbers this time, but at the last meeting you guys had the numbers, and Stansberry and Monroe were like 10 student difference. 44. Thank you, Mindy.
And it could be up or down a little bit now
Right.
based on those numbers were.
So 44 kid difference.
Right. And so
Okay.
it's not about how many you have percentage-wise, the 44 difference. Again, it's more about that total enrollment. Remember, the challenge is the smaller you get as a school, the more difficult it becomes to have.
Sorry, that was total enrollment.
Okay.
So 44 kid difference.
Right. The smaller you get as a school, the more difficult it becomes to have the DLI program and your traditional program.
Dice que es más difícil mantener una escuela, entre más pequeña sea, es más difícil mantener el programa de inmersión dual y el programa tradicional.
Okay, so then my other question is Valley Crest, I believe it's called FCI score. They have an FCI score of 32. Westlake didn't even have an FCI score of 32 when the earthquake hit, and the ceiling caved in.
Right. That's-
So what are we gonna do to make Valley Crest, like the standards of it better? What are we doing?
Right. Concerned about the condition of Valley Crest and other schools.
Dice que está preocupada de la condición del edificio de Valley Crest.
32 doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad or unsafe school.
Que como se mide 32, no es necesariamente que esté en mala condición la escuela.
When the earthquake happened, it was more about where the epicenter of the earthquake was and the type of construction for Westlake.
Cuando pasó el sismo, Westlake se derrumbó, pero dice que es más en dónde fue ocasionado más por dónde fue el epicentro que la condición del edificio.
Earthquakes are different, even yards, if not miles apart.
Sé que los sismos son diferentes en unos cuantos pies de distancia, actúan diferente.
The bottom line is, there's no school unsafe for students, or we would not have the students in it.
Que no hay una escuela que no esté segura y que si no tiene alumnos en ella.
So Valley Crest still hasn't had any of the security updates either.
You're coming in February.
I was in a meeting this morning, we were talking about it there, yes. The security updates are scheduled to start in the next couple of months now.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I read here that for the DLI school, if it's going to be a magnet school, that it's going to be from kindergarten to 5th grade. Now what about, is it going to have a preschool program there too?
Good question. Do we know that yet? So will there be a preschool at the magnet school?
Está preguntando si va a haber el programa de preschool en la escuela de Magnet.
That depends on funding for preschool. They don't
Right.
have enough funding to put preschool in it.
It's a question I will write down and see if we can get an answer for.
And also like for students who have like special needs, like for example, my preschooler has special needs to where he's receiving the special needs or here in Monroe.
Right.
And my other children are also coming here to Monroe because of the DLI program. So just having to have one student, one child in one school and then another child in another school, that's very inconvenient. So
That can certainly be a challenge for sure.
yes.
If a student is in first, they're in the DLI program and has an IEP or other special needs, if you will.
Está hablando acerca que sería difícil para ella o para los padres si tienen un niño en educación especial y tienen otros niños en el programa de DLI, que sería unos en una escuela y otros en otra escuela.
For the magnet school, the first consideration is DLI right for you? Then, if it is, then you're accepted into the program as a student. Then, just like any other school, there are special education needs or other resources, those are still offered.
Dice que la primera pregunta sería si el programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje es lo mejor para ustedes. Y una vez que están en el programa, como cualquier otra escuela, el programa de inmersión dual tendrá maestros especializados para ayudar a sus niños con discapacidades, para ayudarles, para darles ayuda extra.
So my first question is, Monroe's obviously a Title I school. Are the other schools that were considered Title I?
I think I don't have my chart in front of me, I can't remember what it does. And then if you want to stand up here, that would be great.
It's okay.
No, this is great. Okay, let me answer this part first. It's very important. It's a great question. Remember, Title I is dependent upon the students at that school based on free and reduced lunch applications. Who qualifies? How many, let me say it starting again. What percentage of a student body at a school qualifies for free and reduced lunch?
Para que una escuela sea el Title I o Título 1, es de acuerdo al porcentaje de alumnos que califican para el almuerzo gratis o reducido.
We have seen that change when we close or make boundary changes.
Hemos visto ese cambio cuando cerramos una escuela o hacemos cambios en los límites de la escuela.
That's why we put it on the chart to remind us and everyone else there are special programs there.
Por eso lo pusimos en la gráfica para recordarnos a nosotros y a las demás personas las necesidades de la escuela.
But it's a great question. We will have to see, especially now, how many DLI students choose to go to the magnet or to other schools or to stay at their home school to see who still qualifies as Title I.
Dice que necesitamos ver cuántos niños quieren quedarse en el programa o escogen ir a sus escuelas o a una escuela tradicional para saber cómo se va a contar.
Okay, my next question is, how is this going to impact the class sizes and how the teachers are able to give attention to students? My nephew, who I co-parent, is considered special needs. He has FASD, and he does need a little bit more attention. How is this going to affect those kids that need that more attention if the class sizes are increasing?
Class size itself should not increase or decrease. Because remember, the number of teachers increases or decreases with the number of students.
Ella pregunta que cómo va a afectar a los niños que tienen necesidades especiales, cómo se va a atender estos alumnos. Y él le recuerda que la cantidad de alumnos puede ayudar a que aumente la cantidad de maestros o si son menos alumnos va a disminuir la cantidad de maestros.
In fact, we believe that making these changes will help balance out class size in all of these schools.
Y pensamos que estos cambios van a balancear mejor las clases.
Because when you're trying to run a school that has DLI and traditional classes, you oftentimes end up with that real big imbalance in class sizes.
Porque cuando una escuela tiene el programa tradicional y el programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje, algunas clases son muy grandes y las otras son muy grandes, pero que de esta manera se van a balancear mejor la cantidad de alumnos en las clases.
And my last question, as an employee here at Monroe, as well as a parent, how is the district going to support the employees with the transition, whatever you decide?
Great question. We have already had some meetings with some employees, teachers especially, but any employees.
Dice ella que cómo va a afectar a las personas que trabajan en la escuela con estos cambios, y él dice que ha habido algunas reuniones enfocándose en estas preguntas.
Once a decision is made by the board in December, we will have more meetings.
Que una vez que se haga la decisión en diciembre por la mesa directiva,
Human Resources and Association representatives will come to the meetings.
Recursos humanos va a indicarles
And answer questions that I cannot answer.
y van a resolver preguntas que yo no les puedo dar la respuesta.
Then, if needed, they will sit down individually with every employee to talk about what protections they have and what that process is.
Y individualmente, si es necesario, se van a sentar con las personas que trabajan en la escuela para decirles cuáles son los recursos y las decisiones que tienen que tomar.
We've closed unfortunately, seven schools in the last 5 years.
Que desafortunadamente cerramos 7 escuelas en los años pasados.
In all of those closures, we have not fired or had to say, you don't have a job for you.
Y que durante ese tiempo nunca hemos dicho a una persona que trabaja en la escuela, ya no tienes trabajo, ni tuvimos que correrlos.
Because we're a large district and still have a lot of people that we need to hire.
porque somos un distrito grande y necesitamos muchas personas que trabajen en la escuela.
So we have developed very good policies to help us through this process.
Y hemos desarrollado varias pólizas para ayudar con este proceso.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Mine is a quick one. What is the projected enrollment for the magnet and what's the capacity?
Okay. The projected enrollment for the magnet school, right, and the capacity.
¿Y quieres saber cuál es el total de personas que se van a inscribir en el programa de Magnet y la capacidad?
Valley Crest, similar to Monroe, has a capacity approximately 700.
Dice que la capacidad de Monroe y también de Valley Crest es aproximadamente de 700,
Could be a little more, could be a little less.
más o menos, más o menos.
We don't know what the enrollment will be yet at the magnet school.
No sabemos todavía cuántos alumnos se van a inscribir en el programa de Magnet.
It depends on how many of the current DLI students choose to go and how many other students from throughout the district or even out of the district choose to come to the school.
The limit would be around 700. And right now, what you're planning to do is
That's why we're doing the survey, to help, to at least get a starting point of how many people are really interested in saving. We will continue to do marketing and to let other people, not just in these schools, but around the district, know about the magnet schools.
Para tener una estimación de cuántos alumnos se van a inscribir en el programa de Magnet, es muy importante que ustedes llenen la encuesta para tener más o menos una idea de cuántas personas va a recibir la escuela de Magnet.
If it is approved by the board.
Si es que está aprobado por la mesa directiva.
Did that satisfy? Was that good? Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Hi.
Están hablando del tráfico que se hace aquí, pero el mover la gente, los estudiantes a la otra escuela, va a ser lo mismo. No es que va a ser un poco más dificultoso.
He's talking about the traffic, that it has been said that it's going to be difficult here, but he feels that if we move the students to the other school, it's going to be the same, it's going to be difficult or even worse.
Porque la gente los niños que caminan hacia acá, ahora van a tener que tomar o van a tener que los papás llevarlos a la escuela. O sea, es un lugar más.
Because the children that walk to school, now they are going to be transported, and it's more cars.
Neither school will be easy,
Ninguna de las escuelas va a ser fácil,
but we believe the other Valley Crest will be easier or better.
pero pensamos que la otra escuela va a ser un poco más fácil.
A lot depends on how many students come from far away.
Mucho de eso depende de cuántos alumnos vienen de lejos.
Do they come from mostly here, over here, down here?
Depende de dónde vienen los alumnos, de más lejos, alrededor.
Most of the time, in these situations, parents do develop carpools.
La mayoría del tiempo en estas situaciones los padres desarrollan alguien que los lleve. En inglés es carpool, o sea que alguien lleva a los niños de otra persona. Se asisten en transportar a los niños.
And develop different routines to accommodate for this change.
Y desarrollan varias rutinas para poder compensar con estos cambios.
That's probably not the best answer that you like.
Probablemente no es la mejor respuesta que él esperaba.
Otra pregunta es, va a haber mucha gente que ya no los va a mandar. Va a haber mucha gente que ya no los va a mandar. Va a notar que la inversión ya no, por X cosas de trabajo, X cosas, ya no
he says that there is going to be a lot of people that they are not going to send their kids to the school.
Please fill out the survey so we know who
Sí.
wants to go where.
Que por favor llenen la encuesta para saber a dónde van a ir o cuál es su experiencia.
That will help inform us and the board as to the best decision.
Para que nos pueda informar a nosotros y a la mesa directiva y que se pueda tomar la mejor decisión.
Voy a hablar con muchos padres de familia que no están presentes.
Voy a hablar por, I'm going to speak for many parents that are not present, that are not here. Switch Spanish.
As you know, we have like, I think 40% walking people, more than the trailers. I mean, like, I think closer to Banker Street. So, and I know because we talk about it, they won't send their kids to wall system. Have you think on the effect that will have on, I mean, on the project? I don't know if I can explain that. Because they won't send their kids there. Like my friend here, she walks. She walks. They don't have another option.
Won't send them to the magnet
Walk,
school?
yes,
Or to
to
your-
the magnet. Yeah, and that will affect like teachers, school, everybody. As you can see, because it will be like I say, like 40% they won't go to the magnet school. So I think it will be like and it's sad that they didn't come because they don't know how to explain or they're scared. I don't know.
They know they have you. right?
Yes, no. But yeah, you have to, I think we have to talk to them because this will affect the magnet school. Because we have talked, they won't send the kids. I mean, they say they will stay in English classes, so that will affect the program. So, and it's hard because like my kids speak Spanish at home, and I will keep them here, because I won't go all the way back there, because sometimes I have to walk too, because some of us live in a budget, and we don't have like 2-3 cars. We have one, and sometimes we have to share it, so I'm not able to walk. I don't want to walk over there, because we have little kids, they got sick. I know you said before, we deserve, I think we deserve more than, I'm sorry, we don't have a bus, Our kids deserve a bus. We don't have a bus. I mean, it's like 30, 35, 40 minutes walk from, I live there by Jordan Valley Hospital, so it's like a 35 minutes walk. And I want to submit my kids.
It's exactly 1.9 miles from Valley Crest to Banner.
It's the same thing. And I think Monroe is like on the middle. So they can, from Hillside is closer, from Valley Crest is closer. I know it's hard for Valley Crest parents and from Hillside parents, but if you see it's the middle. And I'm like raise my kids. And more besides this COVID thing, we get scared. And I won't want to walk and raise my little ones myself. The temperatures, it's freezing. And I won't send my kids. It's 3 days, 2 days. And I heard another part. So, I think it's an option to see what's going on, because I'm pretty sure it will be at least like 40% kids are not going to magnet school. So it's not a question, but it's something like we have talked, and sometimes because we don't know how to express ourselves, right?
You're doing great.
Thank you. Like that's why they don't come, they don't, but we have talked, and yeah, it's something kind of like hard and difficult, and some of them can't. It's not an option, they can't because they walk a lot. And I think if they decide to walk all the way down to Valley Crest School, it will affect the way the kids work in school. So imagine 30-minute walk to school, they will be tired, hungry, sleepy, cold,
so that will affect the way they study or work in school. So it's more than traffic. It's more than I know we have great teachers, and I think you have great teachers on Hillside and Valley, but it's more than that. You know, it's more health. Yes.
Yeah, like Valley kids are being drilled, we're walking. Exactly. But there's also Valley children that, which ones that will also have to come to the classroom. So it's affecting all of them, not just one thing. And this is why they have this, so they can hear from parents. It doesn't just everybody, but also look at the education that your children will be getting by having a magnet school. It's going to give them more opportunity with it. It's going to centralize it. It's going to make it a better program. Why would you take your child away from that if you want them to have a better education?
I understand all you're saying, I understand, and I drive and I know it. I mean, the word magnet sounds great.
It's gonna have to be.
I know, and it's going to affect everybody, Hillside, Monroe,
But
and
you're right, this is, first of all, you're a great representative.
they can. Everybody, all
But
of us.
that is why we're having this meeting,
I know, I
right?
know.
So we can hear from everybody different opinions.
Opinions.
And I can't, again, there's some things I just can't disagree with. And I can't say, no, you're wrong. Because there are impacts that are not right or wrong, they just are. You
And I
know that.
agree what you said, but some people just, they want, you know, they work, they walk, they're safe, they want. So, and I agree, I mean, it sounds great, but it's just, they can't.
Right. Let me say one more thing about buses. And I don't want to, one more thing about transportation of buses.
Voy a explicar más o menos lo que pasó. Ella dice que el 40% de los alumnos piensa que no van a ir a la escuela de Magnet porque está muy lejos y que algunas personas no es porque no quieran, sino es que no pueden, no tienen transporte, no tienen los medios para transportar a sus hijos. La señorita que está atrás dijo que es un buen programa, que por qué queremos quitarles esa oportunidad a los niños, ¿verdad? Y todos estamos de acuerdo que no es que se les quiera quitar la oportunidad, pero la realidad de unas personas es diferente a la realidad de otras personas.
I cannot, one, I can't guarantee there will be many buses. Two, I can't say that there will never, maybe one day there will be many buses. I don't think the board can say that yet. We don't know. A lot depends on how many students come to the program.
Dice que no puedo darles una garantía de que si va a haber camiones o no va a haber camiones. Todo depende de cuántos niños se inscriban en el programa.
Yeah, I just can't promise either way.
No puedo prometerles nada.
We will have to see.
So I have a question.
Okay, you look like you're about to get ready here.
So I'm wondering why traffic flow and the location of Valley Crest are being considered the most for that location when traffic flow is going to be an issue regardless. It's not like either school is going to not exist anymore. We're just going to have the magnet at one location and we're going to have traditional school in another location. So traffic flow is still going to be an issue regardless of which option we choose.
The concern again is about traffic and getting in and out.
Dice que ella quiere entender por qué se está mencionando sobre el tráfico, que no importa en cualquier escuela va a haber problema de tráfico y por qué es que se considera la escuela de Valley Crest con menos problemas con la fluidez del tráfico.
I don't know any school throughout the district where traffic in and out of the school is easy,
Right?
but
Que no conoce él ninguna escuela en el distrito donde salir y entrar de la escuela sea una solución fácil.
if we're comparing just Monroe and Valley Crest, again, we feel like it's easier.
Yeah.
Not easy and really, really hard, but kind of in the middle, like because of the street issue, not what's happening on the campus,
Right.
but on the street, it does make it easier.
But I'm saying the traffic flow issues are still gonna be a thing, so I don't understand why we're prioritizing traffic flow for the magnet school when I feel like we should be prioritizing how many kids live in the current boundaries of the different schools. You look at Monroe has the smallest boundary on there, and we have the biggest program here. We also have the biggest amount of boundary kids that are coming to our program. So we have more kids that are going to be negatively affected by the program moving to a different school than are going to potentially benefit from better traffic flow elsewhere.
I'm going to go back to the table.
Okay.
I think this was the beginning of this year, a couple months ago.
Dice que al principio de este año, un par de meses atrás,
Monroe had 222 DLI students,
Monroe tenía 222 alumnos en el programa de inmersión dual
191 so-called traditional students.
y 191 en el programa tradicional.
Valley Crest, 195 DLI students,
Y Valley Crest tenía 195 en el programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje
186 traditional students.
y 186 en el programa tradicional.
So what I have is I have a picture of the slide from the earlier meeting, and it has us at 267.
We're on the same one, just one check.
It's not the same numbers now.
Can I see which one?
Yeah,
Oh, gotcha.
it's the same,
But
it's the
they
same,
made
different numbers, yeah.
different numbers, okay.
So we also have a lot more of this one says that in boundary kids, we have out of 267 that come to Monroe, 208 are in boundary, while 59 are out of boundary, versus Valley Crest has 249 students, 130 are in boundary, 119 are out of boundary, so half of their program is already being transported to their school. So it makes more sense to me for the kids that are having to walk to school to do what's best for them rather than the kids that are coming from out of boundary. I understand there are kids from Magna, and I know that sounds like why you're saying Valley Crest is more centrally located for those kids, but I'm more concerned about the kids that have to walk and are going to be taken out of this program after they've already started it. It seems pretty disingenuous to me to have those kids have to stop it because they don't have the ability to walk 45 minutes to school, or, I mean, it's honestly not safe. I wouldn't send my first grader 45-minute walk to school, and especially if there's potentially not gonna be any buses because it's a specialized school, that makes it an even bigger potentially safety risk. It just seems crazy to put it at that location versus another one where it's going to be more beneficial to more children and more safe for more children than maybe a little inconvenient for parents that have to
The
drive.
numbers are close. Maybe I'll run the percentages I got. I think I have that in my office. The percentage of each school in and out, DLI versus not. So I'll run those numbers and have those ready for next week's meeting.
Okay.
Sé que va a revisar los números, que no hay mucha diferencia entre los alumnos que están fuera del área y dentro del área de la escuela, y que va a poner la información para la siguiente.
I'll just add, though, that keep in mind this is not a math answer. This is not a math solution. So in other words, it's not about who has the highest percentage, just that. It's not about who has more DLI students versus traditional. It matters, but it's not the only answer.
I just feel like it should be more about the kids that are going to be affected rather than the adults that are going to have more traffic problems.
Can you translate that? Can you translate what she's saying?
Yeah,
Sorry.
they are going to pass on to. Okay.
Sorry.
You got it? You need to say that
Ya,
part again? or-
Levi, ella lo que está diciendo es que ella ve una cantidad mayor de alumnos aquí que están asistiendo al programa de inmersión dual, que por qué cambiarlos al otro lado. si es que nos estamos enfocando más en el tráfico, ¿por qué se está haciendo eso? Y él dice que no es una situación matemática, que no es donde hay más estudiantes o donde hay menos estudiantes. Y
Most of what you're saying now, again, true, but I've also heard the opposite, other side of that coin from Valley Crest parents. Basically saying, you know, even part of us have to walk further.
Right.
We're close, depending on how you look at it, what time of year you look at it, on those numbers in and out, traditional versus non-traditional. Not one, it's like a boundary study or closure. There's not only one factor that makes this decision, it's a combination of these things.
dice que no hay solamente un factor que determina todo esto, no es la cantidad de alumnos que hay aquí o allá. Hay varios factores que está muy cerca los números, pero hay muchos factores que determinan la decisión.
And I think I can promise you that even after a decision is made,
Y les prometo que después de que la decisión se tome,
that two reasonable people could still debate which one was better.
que las dos personas que van a confrontarse en esto, sí van a saber cuál es la mejor.
And both people would have a pretty good argument.
Y las dos personas van a tener muy buenas respuestas. Si dos personas están confrontando esto, las dos personas van a tener buenas respuestas.
Just like in a typical school closure or boundary adjustment,
Es como en la escuela típica cuando se cambian los límites de la escuela.
there's never a perfect solution that answers everyone's questions.
No hay una solución perfecta que contesta las respuestas, las preguntas de todas las personas.
No matter where the magnet school would go, or which school closes,
No importa dónde esté la escuela de Magnet o qué escuela se va a cerrar.
some of us are going to feel better about that decision than others.
Algunas personas se van a sentir mejores con esta decisión que otras.
I can come back in a couple of years after the dust settles,
Puedo venir un par de años después, ya cuando el polvo esté sedimentado,
and if everything you say ends up being true,
y si todo lo que están diciendo es verdad,
I'll stand here,
voy a pararme aquí,
but not too close,
pero no muy
you
cerca,
can reach me
para que no me pueda alcanzar,
and answer those questions the best I can.
y contestar esas preguntas lo mejor que pueda.
So I know a lot of parents are feeling like this is just already a done deal. How close to correct are they?
Not correct. I get that, this is great, I get a chance to defer to a board member who does make that decision.
I have 3.5 pages of questions to ask still.
We have a 2-hour meeting scheduled for tomorrow.
Yeah. And I'm adding questions from what you're saying. So this is not a done deal. And there's stuff that Steve's saying that I'm saying, well, that's crap. We can't allow that to continue and happen. And, we're really still thinking through this to the very end. And the reality is,
Dice que ella tiene que revisar, tiene todavía 300 respuestas
Except for
y que todavía están tomando decisiones y que todavía no se ha finalizado. Están escuchando la opinión de todos ustedes.
I do not come to this school. My kids don't come here. And yet I am being asked to vote about this. And the reason I'm here is because you know what I don't know. And so you're going to be able to help me understand what are the small issues, like this trailer park, that I didn't know about. Small things like this that are going to help us who are, honestly, have to vote, even though it's not our community, to make the right decision. So it's really important that you say the things that you know, because you know what I don't know, right? so much for being here.
Dice, ella está en la mesa directiva de los que toman las decisiones. Dice que sus hijos no vienen a esta escuela, no pertenece a esta comunidad. Sin embargo, se le ha pedido que vote y que ustedes estén aquí y expresen su opinión y que vean y que den su punto de vista. Le ayuda a ella a tomar mejor decisión. Por ejemplo, ella no sabía acerca de los trailers. Ella no sabía eso. Que no hubiera podido saber eso si es que ustedes no lo mencionan. Entonces, por eso es muy importante que ustedes participen y den información para que ella pueda tomar una decisión mejor.
So how do we know that creating the magnet program is going to be a sustainable thing, especially since we're hearing that a good portion of the kids, especially if it's taken to Valley Crest, will not be able to attend. And I know at one of the previous meetings, it was also discussed that we would have to create a program because Valley Crest's feeder pattern is supposed to be changing, which this would still make it a split feeder in my mind because my kids go to Monroe, they're gonna go to Westlake, they're gonna go to Granger, I'm not gonna take them to Hunter and Hunter.
Let me address part of that because I didn't earlier, okay?
Dice que cómo le aseguran a ella que esto va a funcionar, el programa de Dual Immersion, porque ya que algunas personas han dicho que no van a ir la cantidad de alumnos que están participando ahora en el programa, no van a asistir a la otra escuela. Entonces, ¿cómo es que van a mantener esta escuela magnet con eso? Y que también va a ocasionar que cambie a qué escuela secundaria o preparatoria van a ir.
Right now, Valley Crest is considered a split feeder, right?
Que Valley Crest está considerada como una escuela que va a diferentes secundarias, está dividida.
Yeah, this part of Valley Crest goes to Westlake and Granger High School.
Esa parte va a Westlake y Granger High School.
The rest of Valley Crest goes to Hunter Junior and Hunter High.
El resto va a Hunter Junior y Hunter High.
What we're saying is, if it's approved, all of this area becomes Monroe Elementary,
Si toda esta área es aprobada y se convierte en Monroe Elementary,
Monroe would be a split feeder.
Monroe va a ser una escuela que va a estar dividida a qué escuela secundaria van a ir.
Which means all of this area and to Hunter Junior, Hunter High, all of that to Westlake Granger High.
Y la parte rosa va a ir a Westlake, Granger y Granger, y la otra va a ir a Hunter.
This was a proposal regardless of what was happening with DLI.
Eso es lo que se propone, no importa lo que pase con el programa de Dual Immersion.
There are approximately 90 junior high students in this area.
Aproximadamente hay 99 alumnos en esa área de Junior High.
And approximately 150 high school students.
Y aproximadamente 150 alumnos de preparatoria.
Is that what you were talking about, those for split feeders?
Kind of, it was also with the last meetings, they were saying that they would add a secondary program for the junior and Hunter high school as well. So would this take that away?
No. So in other words, we would still have, and I'm going to look over here, again, if I say this wrong, let me know, but we would, instead of take away or move, add DLI teachers at the junior high and high schools where we have DLI students. So especially at Hunter Junior and Hunter High. And if we need them at Matheson or Broadbank, then we have to hire a DLI teacher for those schools.
Where does that funding come from? If we can't sustain the programs right now in elementary schools? When that's such a small.
Funding is per pupil, so it really, again, the money follows the student wherever that student chooses to go. So instead of all of those students, and all of the money going to Westlake and Granger, however many students go there, the ratio for that number of teachers, and the money follows the students wherever they continue.
But how does that create a sustainable secondary program? If you've only got a handful of kids.
And let's stop and get some translation here too.
Sí,
Basically, how do we have DLI at home community?
está hablando de que si va a haber el programa de programa de inmersión dual de lenguaje en junior high, en high school, y él dice que se tendrían que contratar maestros para que pudiera continuar en Hunter Elementary.
Sherry is our DLI specialist expert.
Ella es especialista del programa de inmersión dual de idioma.
So a secondary dual immersion utilizes the current Spanish teacher in the school, and then so the current Spanish teacher is also the dual immersion teacher. So it's a section of their schedule. And at the secondary level, we've had a lot of success. In fact, at the high school, dual immersion bridge classes and DLI Tribe, half the students that are in those classes weren't dual immersion students in elementary. They're native Spanish speakers who are able to have the class in high school. So they often go to Spanish for heritage speakers to get caught up on their reading and writing, and then they go into dual immersion and bridge.
Dice que algunos de los maestros que están actualmente enseñando la escuela español se convierten en maestros de inmersión de lenguaje, dual de lenguaje en las escuelas secundarias y preparatorias, y que ha funcionado bien.
Sir, thank you for waiting so long.
So I got a couple of questions. The first one is if, kind of hypothetical, I believe it's kind of what you're talking about before, but it's if Monroe fills up and, I don't know, somehow Magna goes into Hillcrest and fills that school up, I guess what's there in place to, so I'll just read it. We fill up Monroe with kids and then make the Magna school fills up with Magna students.
So
I guess what's there to...
If both schools reach capacity?
Yeah, I think that's what the question is going
So both Monroe and Valley Crest reach their capacity of approximately 700 students.
Dice que si ambas escuelas alcanzan su capacidad de 700 alumnos cada escuela,
One, that would be great
será grandioso.
to have those schools at full capacity.
Será grandioso tener esas dos escuelas a su alta capacidad.
If in a couple of years we come back to this area and look at the other boundary study like I've talked about, focused a little more down here, but could stretch back to this area, and we need to make adjustments in a couple of years, we can look at that. I would be frankly shocked if we had schools that were too large at that point, just based on the sheer number of students that live in this area. So it would be a good problem to have, but right now we don't have enough students that live in the area to have many schools that are too big.
Dice que sería maravilloso, pero que él no siente que en algunos años van a tener escuelas que van a pasar de su capacidad.
And then my question, so this is the first time I've been here listening and stuff. Who did the traffic engineer this place is better, just to satisfy my curiosity?
Who helped us
Yeah,
to
like who
understand
helped
the
it? Maybe
traffic
where's
patterns?
that? Is that public information kind of thing?
We use mostly our in-house traffic engineer. He's an architect with some specialization in traffic engineering.
¿Quiere saber quién hizo los análisis para medir la capacidad de la fluidez de tráfico? Y se usa ingenieros internos para que del distrito de Granite para que hagan ese estudio.
It was a combination. We don't have a full 50-page report.
Dice que fue una combinación que no hacemos un reporte escrito.
It was a combination of experience, knowing what a challenge it is now.
Que es basado en las experiencias de lo que tenemos ahora
Observation, watching traffic,
y observando el tráfico, la fluidez de tráfico en estas áreas.
and I was part of the meeting where we sat down and in the office and used Google Earth and looked at other UDOT tools to look at traffic patterns in this area, especially it's literally right in front of the school.
Y que usaron la información de Google para ver cómo va la fluidez de tráfico en esta área. Estuvieron observando.
I'm not an expert, I promise,
No soy un experto, les prometo eso,
but in simple terms, part of the problem is for two streets.
pero no soy un experto, pero parte del problema son dos calles.
How close it is to Bangor,
¿Qué tan cerca está de Bangor?
and the traffic that comes off of Bangor,
Y el tráfico que viene saliendo de Bangor.
and I don't remember the coordinate or the name of the street, but where the light, the 44, that runs, that is a, I can't remember the term, but it's a main artery for the area.
Y la 44 que es una arteria principal de tráfico en el área.
Which funnels a lot of traffic on about a mile stretch right here from the school.
Y que dirige mucho tráfico hacia esta área. Y por esa es un canal de mucho tráfico.
And this is just a comment, like I understand all that, I know Bangor's right there, 5600's right there.
Right.
And just more of a comment, I've heard a lot of like I feels, I thinks, I deal in facts.
Right.
To be I think a lot of people would hear probably I feel like this has been, the board's made up their mind, and this is just lip service. And we can fill out the thing, but it's gonna be, it's already been decided.
Right.
And I know school districts are powerhouses. Like they can do a lot of things. This used to be 20 miles an hour, now it's not anymore. And I know school districts will demolish schools and justify building a new one. And I just feel like the school district is kind of the haves, and the kids are the have-nots, and the haves are taken away from the have-nots. And I think the next time, more transparency of like the study and numbers would go a long ways than like I feels, and this should work, but what if it
best to
doesn't?
have some more data for you.
Yeah.
If you want to contact me
Well, I mean, for
directly.
me, for everyone here.
For everyone, to have some more this next week at that meeting, or stuff that we can post on the website.
Thank you.
Lo que yo quería comentar es que hay muchos niños que están, si se pasan a la escuela Valley, estarían caminando más de 40 minutos en lluvia, en calor, en frío, en nieve, porque usted no está asegurando un bus para ellos. Entonces, mis hijos.
She says that what she wants to say is that if they move boundaries, there will be kids that will be walking 40 minutes or more in the sun, the weather, the heat, the snow.
Y aparte, si un niño camina ahorita a esta hora, tendría que caminar 40 minutos y a las 7 de la mañana todavía está oscuro. Es un peligro más para ellos.
And she says that if a child at this moment had to walk that far, at this time is at 7 o'clock. If he starts walking at 7 o'clock, it's dark, and that's dangerous for them to do that.
Does your child come to Monroe? Okay. Does your child walk in the walking area now? Okay, I'm just curious about that. Okay.
Algunas veces un niño viene a esta escuela, pero algunas veces tiene que caminar.
Otra cosa es que están perdiendo su español, que les ayudaría mucho a su futuro.
If you move the school to Valley Crest, there will be a lot of students that will be losing their Spanish, which it will be helpful in the future.
También muchos niños ahorita están llegando a este país y no hablan inglés. Entonces esos niños, cuando estén allá o estén aquí, si solamente están aquí y hablan puro inglés, esos niños van a tener más dificultades.
So there are lots of Spanish-speaking kids that come here, and if you move them over there and they stay here, they are going to have more difficulty in the future because of the language.
También hay otros niños que no les gusta convivir mucho con otros niños y para ellos se les va a hacer más difícil.
And there are other students that don't like to be with other students, and for them also will be difficult.
Entonces yo estoy pidiendo que no quiten el español de Monroe.
So she's asking not to take away Spanish in Monroe.
First, thank you. Very good. I want to reemphasize something first. I'm going to go back to what the gentleman said before he left.
Va a enfatizar algo que lo que dijo el señor antes de irse.
And to piggyback a little bit on what our board member said.
También contribuir a lo que dijo la señora que es miembro de la mesa directiva.
Because many people feel like the decision has been made.
Porque muchas personas sienten que la decisión ya se ha tomado.
Understand the two different roles or job that I have versus the board.
Para que entiendan los diferentes directivas que yo tengo que tomar y la directiva que tiene, la decisión que tiene que tomar también los miembros de la mesa directiva.
My job is to lead a large committee of over 30 people.
Mi trabajo es guiar a un grupo de 40 personas
To come and talk to communities
para que vengan y hablen con las comunidades
for almost a year.
por lo menos un año.
In the meantime, also work with the board,
Y también trabajo con la mesa directiva
but then come and make a recommendation to the board.
y también hago recomendaciones a la mesa directiva.
I don't make the decision.
Yo no tomo las decisiones,
Only a board has that power.
solamente la mesa directiva tiene ese poder.
Yes, I am making a recommendation currently
Sí, estoy haciendo la recomendación en este momento
based on the information we have up to this point
basado en la información que tengo hasta este momento
for these proposals.
para estas propuestas.
Then I come to board meeting and make the recommendation to the board.
Después vengo a la mesa directiva y hago esas recomendaciones a la mesa directiva.
They have the extremely difficult decision to say yes or no.
Ellos tienen un desafío muy difícil para decir sí o no.
Let me come back to yours a little bit. If we do nothing, if none of these proposals happen,
Si ninguna de estas proposiciones pasan, si no hacemos nada,
there are still challenges.
van a haber desafíos todavía.
This is not, if we do nothing, then everybody gets to go back and be happy to where they were.
No es que si no hacemos nada, todos van a estar felices y vamos a regresar al punto donde todos estamos contentos.
The reason this study began in the first place
La razón por la que este estudio empezó primeramente
is we've been hearing from parents, administrators, and others for many years
hemos estado escuchando de parte de los padres administradores y otras personas
about the challenges of small schools,
sobre los desafíos de escuelas pequeñas,
especially small schools with DLI programs.
especialmente las escuelas que tienen el programa de inmersión de lenguaje dual.
So if the board approves none of these changes,
Si la mesa directiva no aprueba ninguno de estos cambios,
I come back and we start talking about the problems that are still there.
puedo regresar y hablar acerca de los problemas que todavía existen
And we will try to come up with the best solution possible.
y tratar de venir con la mejor solución posible.
I don't know what that would be yet,
Y no sé cuál sería,
but whatever it is,
pero lo que sea
it won't be perfect.
no va a ser perfecto.
Why has the district not made Bangor Highway a hard boundary for schools?
Es que ¿por qué no han hecho
So why cannot we as a district make Bangor Highway the boundary? You know, all schools like Hillsdale, no part of Hillsdale over here.
que por qué no podemos hacer la línea divisoria en Bangor?
No schools have boundaries on both sides of Bangor.
Dice que ninguna de las escuelas tiene boundaries en Bangor.
About 5 years ago,
5 años atrás
we had a study called the Bangor Corridor Study.
y tuvimos un estudio que se llama Estudio de Bangor Highway.
The first goal of that study was to do just that.
Y la primera meta fue hacer justamente eso.
That was unfortunately a year we had a couple of school closures.
Desafortunadamente fue cuando tuvimos 2 escuelas que se cerraron.
Westbrook being one of those, right on Bangor.
Westbrook fue una de esas escuelas.
So many changes were made down in this area for
Y se
schools.
hicieron muchos cambios en esa área.
That's always a goal. We're looking at schools that straddle or on both sides of Bangor.
Y hemos visto, y este ha sido el objetivo que buscamos en estas áreas de las escuelas.
But that goal has to be balanced with other things,
Pero,
school closures, programs, and so on, just like we're doing now.
y se tiene que balancear con otras cosas. Los programas de la escuela, la división.
We also have to balance that out with the changes on Bangor.
Y también tenemos que balancear eso con los cambios que hay en Bangor.
We wanted to give a couple more years for all of these interchanges, these overpasses to be completed.
Y queríamos darle un par de años para ver el resultado de los cambios con los puentes que se están construyendo en Bangor.
Because that greatly impacts or influences walking routes and bus transportation and family transportation routes.
Porque eso va a afectar el transporte de las familias, los camiones, el flujo del tráfico.
Finally, keep in mind, we're in a large district.
Tengan en mente que estamos en un distrito grande
It's not just Bangor we have to be concerned with.
y no es solamente Bangor por lo que tenemos que preocuparnos,
Especially on the west side of our district.
especialmente en el oeste del distrito.
Bacchus Highway. Bacchus Highway, in Magna Bacchus. Bacchus Highway.
Que el highway de Bacchus, el Magna,
Mountain View Corridor,
el corredor de Mountain View,
5600 West,
5600 West
I-215.
y I-215.
I-15,
Is the name of that, so I cannot translate that. So
I-15,
I-15,
State Street, all the many other major streets that we have in our district.
y todas las otras calles mayores que tenemos en el distrito.
Are always part of the conversation,
Siempre son parte de la conversación,
but not the only consideration.
pero no,
Not the only thing.
pero no son la única cosa que mencionamos.
But great question. Right, yes. The question was, have we considered or thought about the potential reduction in traffic when this Bangor 3100 South is redone, reconstructed to an overpass?
Que si hemos pensado en la reducción de tráfico que va a haber en la 31 y Vanderbilt después de que se termine toda la construcción.
I remember that was part of our conversation with our traffic engineer.
Y recuerdo que eso fue parte de nuestra conversación con el ingeniero de tráfico.
Sometimes that can make traffic better,
Algunas veces eso hace el tráfico mejor
and in some cases, it encourages people to use routes they haven't before.
y en otras ocasiones motiva a las personas para que tomen otras rutas que no han tomado antes.
Traffic flow might be faster,
La fluidez del tráfico puede ser más rápido
but yet there are more cars.
y también más carros.
We have some good ones coming up here. So let's let that down.
Hi, my name is Samantha Monroe, and I don't want to Monroe take the Spanish. I learned Spanish since I was kindergarten, and some people came and joined Spanish, and I was telling them what to say, and I was treating them like they needed to talk Spanish.
You're so good. Thank you.
Dice que no quiere que se termine el programa de español aquí. Ella aprendió español desde que estaba en kinder y que les dice a otras personas, necesitas hablar español.
No matter where you go to school in the future,
Que no importa dónde vayas a la escuela en el futuro,
we need you and many more like you
necesitamos a muchos como tú
to speak English and Spanish,
que hablen inglés y español
to teach us.
para que nos enseñen.
The only word I know
La única palabra que yo sé
is gracias.
es gracias.
My name is Benji Ataymercado, and I'm like anybody else. Like when I'm in third grade, I decided to help people more. And if someone needed someone to translate, I would always translate them. And I like do other English and Spanish. And I need this whole school so I can talk more idioms.
Oh man.
Dice que le gusta ayudar, cuando llegó a tercer grado le gusta ayudar a otras personas y que cuando le piden que traduzca, él les traduce. Entonces puede tomar mi trabajo.
Benji, Dora is tired. And you're going to be so good. You are now.
And I don't want them to take the Spanish because people doesn't know English also, and then they will not know English, and then they will not know what to say, and they will not know what to do, and also I told the people what to do, and Benji's also in my class, and I help the people what to do.
Dice que no quiere que quiten el programa de español porque hay personas que no hablan inglés o no hablan español y que ella les dice también a los niños qué hacer y que Benji también ayuda a otras personas.
Let me just say that I wish that maybe there always wasn't an age limit on who could run for president, because we have some good candidates there.
Sé que tenemos muy buenos candidatos aquí que ojalá ellos la lanzaran a la candidatura.
Mire, yo quiero hablar. Mi último niño tiene 6 años, va en primer año. Mis 2 muchachas estudiaron doble inversión.
Dice que tiene un niño que tiene 6 años y 2 de sus hijas. She says that her son is 6 years old and she has 2 older girls that were in dual immersion.
Sol acaba de graduarse de la high school este año.
One of her daughters graduated from high school this year.
La verdad, a mí me gustaría que mi hijo tiene una condición especial, mi hijo, él es autista y él está ahorita en los 2 idiomas y él habla español y habla. Me gustaría que mi hijo siguiera.
She says that she would like for her son to continue with the dual immersion. Her son is autistic and he speaks both languages and she would like that opportunity for him.
You too.
They're gonna make me cry. I know. I just want to say that I want to thank them. I know we have parents from Valley, parents from Monroe, parents from Hillsdale, but I just want to say that I appreciate how you listen in both languages the whole meeting because it's a lot more work. But I think what I can get from all of our emotions is that we all really appreciate the Spanish program, right? And what we want is to make it better. We're not trying to decide my school's better, my building's better, but we're just trying to be like, we know this is good for all students. So how can we maintain it for all? You know, we can both be a magnet school. You know, we can all try to think in another way because if we found a solution for Stansbury, how can we find a solution after hearing our thoughts, Valley Crest parents' thoughts, and Hillsdale parents' thoughts, right? So that's what I want to say. And I can say much.
Básicamente lo que está diciendo es que
Entonces algo que quiero decir es que le quiero agradecer a las mamás que vinieron porque sé que están cansadas, you're tired, del trabajo, ¿verdad? Y que la meta es que no queremos que esa escuela sea mejor. We don't want the Valley Crest English kids to have to walk away here, ¿verdad? La idea es que queremos que todos los niños tengan acceso al programa y que les queremos demostrar que es importante para todos en todas las escuelas. ¿Sí?
What I'm going to do at this point is close the official part of the meeting after her. And then if you want to talk, I'll stay for a few more minutes and visit with you up here.
va a cerrar la parte oficial de la reunión, va a estar aquí por si tienen preguntas, se lo puede contestar y lo va a hacer después de que ella participe.
So at some point during the presentation, you had mentioned like reevaluating this, whatever happened. I was curious about the timeline on that. Maybe I missed it, but I wasn't sure if that was addressed.
Dice que le gustaría saber la línea de tiempo cuando se va a ver otra vez, revisar todas las opiniones y para tomar una decisión.
Yes, we are getting near the end of the study, for sure.
Que estamos al final del estudio, por lo seguro.
The board makes an initial approval or not in November 12th.
Noviembre 12 es cuando se hace la primera aprobación del programa.
And then a final decision.
Y la decisión final.
December 10th.
Diciembre 10.
Between now and then, we have one more meeting next week.
Tenemos una reunión la siguiente semana.
Their survey is critical. Their feedback is critical.
Las encuestas son críticas.
If we need to have more meetings, and I'm going to be careful here, not just to say the same things. I don't know if I have new answers, but if there's more data that comes up or more things we need to discuss, I'll be glad to do that between now and then. But that would probably have to be over the next couple of weeks pretty quickly.
En un par de semanas se tiene que hacer otras reuniones si es necesario, no con el mismo tema, sino con preguntas y que surjan o nuevas información que surja, pero tiene que ser en 2 semanas.
Is the board proposal really yes or no, or can they do something?
We can do whatever we want.
I wanted her to say that, not me.
I feel like maybe I wasn't clear. I have children that are not yet in school, so I'm wondering, like, in the long term, is this being reevaluated? Like, you know, let's say that we, you know, pick Valley Crest as the magnet school, or we pick Monroe, or whatever happens. Is there a thought that we're gonna look at the results of enrollment? Do we need to change anything? Because I'm thinking like ahead of this current year.
So could it look differently in a year or 2 or 3 or 4?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to gauge. Is this definitely whatever's happening for the next year or 2, or is it like we're giving it 5 years and then we'll look at it? I'm just not sure about that.
I don't think we have decided on a hard deadline to see is it successful or not.
Yeah.
1 year or 2 or 5.
Ella está preocupada porque tiene otros niños pequeños y quiere ver si esta decisión que se va a tomar, si va a haber una reevaluación en algunos años para cambiarlo o ya es decisivo para siempre.
I can tell you from experience that even with past closures and boundary changes, it typically takes a minimum of 2 to 3 years to see how things flush out and what people's decisions really are.
Dice que con la experiencia que tiene, que ha visto que en algunos 3, 2 años se ve el resultado de la decisión y que es el pensamiento de las personas.
Thank you. Yes, I have a kindergartner this year, so this is kind of my first intro, so I wasn't sure what the timelines were like, so thank you for explaining that.
Tiene niños de kinder, entonces por eso ella estaba preocupada.
Okay. Absolutely. Sure. Hi. You get it?
Hi, I'm Natalie Rivas and I come from Stansbury, and I'm so grateful to still have DLI in our school. Now I come to support the kids in Monroe, so I can learn Spanish, another language, and they can have more success in life. And as a kid, I say that every single kid in all of these schools should have an opportunity to learn 2 languages.
Did you write that yourself?
Dice que ella es de la escuela de Monroe y que está en el programa Stansbury y que está que agradece la oportunidad de que puede estudiar 2 idiomas y que ella quiere esa oportunidad. Dijo otras cosas muy bonitas y que quiere esa oportunidad para otros alumnos que puedan hablar los 2 idiomas.
Thank you for supporting and encouraging your friends at other schools.
Que gracias por apoyar a tus amigos que están en otras escuelas.
And thanks for all the students for being so impressive and speaking so well.
Y que gracias por todos los alumnos que participaron, que fue muy impresionante y que lo hicieron muy bien.
Thank you. Please, you can turn these items on to the QR code, get on the website, talk to your friends, get on social media, whatever you want to do to put the word out. And so that we can get as much good feedback as we can. Thank you for participating in this process.
Que gracias por la oportunidad de participar y que por favor entreguen